Welcome everybody, and today we'll be doing a quick little video just talking about the Hell Is Us demo. Hell Is Us, if you don't know what it is a third-person action adventure. I wouldn't necessarily call it a Souls-like. I feel like it's something closer to God of War or those types of games. I played it earlier this week, so I decided to kind of start this video before I completely forgot what I went through and what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy. And the big thing I noticed from the demo is that I don't think it's necessarily like, hey, play the game to try it out. It's more of a, let's see how your PC handles it. If you guys haven't seen, they put up the recommended specs, and it's pretty demanding from what they showed. But from my experience from playing the demo, it's more of a them trying to be cautious than them making a super demanding game. The game doesn't look the prettiest, but it also doesn't look the worst. I've seen better, I've seen way worse. The controls handled pretty well, and the demo itself was only like an hour and a half, maybe, I think. And during that hour and a half, it kind of gives you like a couple puzzles to go through, beginning hour and a half, so it kind of just gets your feet wet before continuing to the next area, and then right when you go to the next area is when it stops. Throughout my hour and a half, I just have a couple of things that I feel like I hope they should fix before the game comes out in a couple of months. It's September, I think. September or August. Big thing, I think, would just be a super quick fix, so I guess not really a big thing, it's a tiny thing. Tutorials need to be a tad more clear. Now, I know this game is all about not holding people's hands. I know it's about trying to push the limitations of what they tell you, but certain aspects of the combat, I feel like you should just push it out of the way. This is how it works. This is the system. Okay, we're done. We're never going to bring it back up. If you're really confused about it, there is an option in the tutorial. And they kind of have something like Bloodborne, and I know a couple other games have that. It's kind of the same system, but when you get hit, your health goes down. But when your health goes down, there's like a gray tiny sliver of your health that you can activate if you're playing on Xbox controller RB, and if you're playing on PS1 or PS controller R1. And I played it when I just got off of work. I worked the night shift, so it was about 1:30 by the time I was sitting down and playing. So I know this could just be me being tired while I was playing it, but it never was very clear to me when I needed to hit R1. I know it showed your character being like, there was like this white runes that popped around it, at least in the tutorial. But me being a Souls player, I don't necessarily have to look at my character. Usually when I get hit, and something I'll talk about a little bit later on, there's kind of a reason why I was doing this, but I always look at the health bar. Oh wait, health bar. That's like right here. I guess it's tinier. Right here. Because I have peripheral vision, I could be looking at the top right and still see my character. So I was looking at that, and I wasn't necessarily sure how it worked. So first I started mashing RB, and I never regained health, and it was really confusing. So I looked at the tutorial again, and all it showed was your white glyphs on your character. And then I started experimenting with it. I got hit, I sat there, and then I saw there was a white flash on the health bar. Now, if all they needed to add was there will be, or hit RB when the white flash happens in the gray section. That's a sentence. I don't think that's something too hard to add, especially if it's just like the little box thing that they do. And that will also fix a lot of the issues that I had. Now, I was tired, I was a little bit tipsy, and I feel like, yes, that's true. That could have just been me. I'm not denying that. That could have 100% been my fault. But if you add that one sentence, I could have looked at the tutorial after I was confused, and it would have fixed a lot of issues that I was having. And the other issue I had was with the combat. The combat felt weightless. When you hit something or when you got hit, there wasn't really any like recoil or reaction coming from it. So it was a little confusing trying to figure out when you got hit and when you were smacking the things up. So that's why I wasn't even looking at my character or the enemy characters. I was just looking at the health bars. The lock-on system was a little sensitive, not too bad, just takes a little while to get used to. The combat itself is interesting. There's this white bar that lets you use super moves, which there's also a consumable you can use that could keep it up. Pretty much what I mean by super move, you hold the power attack, and then after a certain amount of time, it used part of the white bar, and then you would just do something, whatever the power attack is. And there's a couple of stages of the power attack. I noticed the dual axes that I used had 3 stages, if I remember correctly. So you could just hold it for the first little flash of white, or you could hold it till all of the flashes of the white and do a more powerful power attack. But that's pretty much where my complaints end. I feel like the story kind of gives me Kojima vibes, especially with the first cutscene, if you guys have seen it. If not, I'll put it up on screen right now. The second, they don't really go too far in the story. There's like a civil war going on, and then there's this mysterious third faction, and they kind of just always put shadows in front of people. I don't know if they're doing that to hide characters for the full release, or that's what they're going for. So expect to kind of not know what's going on for a long time is my guess. And they definitely hint at a bunch of stuff, but they don't really go into full details about it. So it being a demo, I didn't expect them to really be like, oh, this is what the story's about. It kind of seems like it's going to be a little bit of a slow roll into it. The areas that you go to, it kind of seemed like a forest and a swamp. Those are pretty much all you got. The dungeon area I thought was really cool. It was very dark in there. There was a lot of places for you to kind of explore. There's backtracking, opening routes to go full directions, and I thought it was something kind of gave me like old school Dark Souls vibes, like Dark Souls 1 vibes, with the being able to open a new area, and instead of going through this whole section again, I can just loop around, which I really enjoy. I feel like that's something not a lot of games do anymore. I mean, Expedition 33 did it. I plan on posting a video about Expedition 33 soon, but a game that great, I need to put some time into it and not just fucking put something together and throw it out. But after playing the demo, I think I was a little more hesitant playing the game than when I was before I played the demo. I know adding things to the combat might be a little too late for them to do that, but also they could have already fixed it. This demos usually are older builds already, So that's why I think it's more of a see how your PC handles it. And like I said, the specs they put out, it kind of seems like they were very cautious with it. It wasn't like super demanding. I was sitting around 60 to 45 frames when I didn't have DLSS or DLAA. And some areas it definitely kind of struggled. There's a lot of foliage, there's particle effects, there's not that many enemies on screen at a time. I think the max I had on screen was 3, I think. Maybe 4. I do have a 4090, so I don't know if that's like the 30s are struggling super hard or anything AMD, because I just don't know. Overall, I think Hell Is Us is a very unique game that I hope the two minute things that I had problems with they could change. I personally am still kind of 50-50 on the story. It kind of seems like I am not a fan of here's present time, okay, now we're gonna go back in time, and then that's where the game starts. Not a big fan of that personally, but that's just a personal opinion. Some people might love it, some people might be okay with it. I personally am not a huge fan of it, especially it's like I like progressing through the journey, like beginning, middle, end. I don't like end, beginning, middle, end. But yet, that's just my personal opinion on it. Everybody has their own opinions about those types of things, so, you know, to each is their own. There's not really much to talk about with it because there wasn't much to play. Still think it's an interesting concept. I like games that don't really hold people's hands through shit. I feel like a lot of gaming companies think people are stupid, and I prefer games to be like, okay, you have to get here, or you have to find this certain thing. We're not going to tell you it's here. Go find it. Or here's a riddle. Figure out the riddle. Go find it. And it kind of makes it more fun to go adventuring around. Like the one puzzle I did in the game, it was pretty simple. It was like find color box, find other color box to open first colored box. And it was a short area and kind of let me run around, let me look at stuff, go through areas that technically I probably wouldn't have went through trying to find this certain thing. And I'm not much of a collectible guy. I don't 100% most things anymore, especially with the amount of games that are coming out. I'd much rather see what the game is, enjoy it, do what I want to do, and then maybe come back to it later and see what I can do to 100% it. Or what is my 100% is probably a better way to say it. I say, hey, always check out free demos for yourself. I just wanted to put this feeler out here, kind of put more videos, different varieties on my channel. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.